Can it get any better for LeBron James? First an NBA championship, then an Olympic gold medal, and now he's the Sporting News Athlete of the Year. Welcome into the Sporting News Studios. I'm Tom Vandervoort. Joining me now on the phone to talk about King James, our NBA writer Sean Deveney. And Sean, I got to ask you, out of all the things LeBron was able to accomplish last year, or this year really, what stood out most to you about what he did and how he did it?
Well, it's got to be the NBA championship, because it had been such a long time coming, and you have to go back to where he was, 1 year ago, and that was, the guy who couldn't finish in the fourth quarter, the guy who had, disappeared in that Dallas series against the Mavericks in the finals before that. So this was a guy who, really was taking a beating on the court and off the court. People were still not over the whole decision thing and him leaving Cleveland. So, he was at a pretty low point 1 year ago. And then if you can, fast forward to where he is now, it's pretty remarkable. And I think it really started with that NBA championship, finally getting that monkey off his back.
In hindsight, now you look back, it seems like a process that's not that unexpected, really. You kind of said, will he ever win one? But now that he has, you look back at the previous years of his career and say, he really seemed to be building toward this all along.
Yeah, and a lot of times you see that with players. And you go back to Michael Jordan, who, didn't come into the NBA and start winning championships right away. It took him some time, about 7 years, and it's been about the same length of time for LeBron James in the NBA. You've got to go through some hard times before you can, sort of break through. And I think Jordan is probably a pretty good example of that. And of course, once Jordan broke through, he won 6 of them. And it's not hard to imagine LeBron James now going ahead and winning multiple championships. Certainly more than one would be expected now.
I agree. And how would you say, I know you had a chance to sit down with him earlier this week, can you give me a sense of how maybe that championship that has changed LeBron and his approach and his feeling about himself as an athlete?
Well, I think it's sort of released some of the pressure. I think nobody was harder on him than himself, and that's the sense that you get with him now, is that he is a little bit more relaxed, a little more laid back, and still very driven on the court. He put a tremendous amount of pressure on himself to win a championship. Now that he's got it, I think that that he can kind of sit back and take some pride in that, and take some pride in the other things he does. He's very, very proud of the work he does with his foundation, with kids in Akron, his hometown. He's done a lot of giving back, a lot of personal giving back. Not just writing checks, but actually being involved in events and things like that. I think that having won a championship, he can kind of take a different level of pride in sort of the other things he does.
Absolutely. And finally, in our What Have You Done For Me Lately culture, what would you say about the Heat right now, about LeBron right now, and how they're looking and feeling about this season?
Yeah, I think they're sort of a sleeping giant. They haven't been overwhelming teams the way you might expect. They're by far the best team in the East, I believe, the Knicks notwithstanding. And I think that they're easily the favorites to win the championship. Again, they haven't played great in the early part of the year, but that's sort of that championship hangover you get sometimes. And I think that, as we get into January and February, you'll really see them start to ramp it up. And I think by the end of the year, there'll be no doubt that this is the favorite to win another championship.
And in the meanwhile, LeBron can enjoy being the Sporting News Athlete of the Year. Sean, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you.